Hey everyone, and welcome to another Expert Showcase. I'm Miguel Lopez here at Wikia, and today the topic is next generation launch titles. I'm joined today by our friend Sactage, who you remember from previous episodes. He's an admin on the Call of Duty Wiki. And that beeping sound you hear is George, our community development manager here at Wikia.
I'm a robot.
So yeah, as we said, the topic is next generation launch titles, and I guess the obvious question to start with is which of the two, the Xbox One and the PS4, which one has a stronger launch lineup? George, you seem to have a bit to say on this topic, so
I always have something to say. Between the two, between Xbox One and PlayStation 4, I think that the PlayStation 4 has the strongest launch lineup, and there's one primary reason for that. Well, two things. One is both consoles are launching with heavy hitters that are not console exclusives. So things like Battlefield 4, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, those big names, doesn't really matter which console you get, you can play them on your console. The things that, at least for me, interest me the most is Sony's dedication to indie games. And PlayStation 4 is launching with several major indie titles. So we've got Knack, which I think looks really cool. We've got Playroom, which looks kind of weird. Minecraft is on there now. It'll be launching with Flower and Flow. Warframe, which is extremely popular. We have a great wiki for it. That's going to be launching as well on the PlayStation 4. So if you want to play any of the big AAA titles, it doesn't really matter. Any console will do. But if you want to play some of the more unique games that are going to be coming out day one, PlayStation 4 is what you have to go for.
You know, I've heard a lot of people say that the Xbox One is just as strong when it comes to indie games. It's just that its support was, not as explicitly stated.
I think in general, when you look at how they've marketed their launches, Sony's put in way more efforts to focus on, guys, we're doing indie games, this is going to be really cool, we're giving developers a lot of freedom. So at the very least, I at least buy into that idea, so we'll see.
I agree with George, and I think that the PS4 definitely has a stronger launch title, because, like you said, that if you want to play the big-name titles, yes, you can get an Xbox One or PS4, it'll be on both. But really, I mean, I love indie games to death. I played, like when Bastion came out, I played that for probably 5 days, like pretty much straight. And I think like indie games, in my opinion, they're like really what drives the gaming community at this point, because there are all the big name games, and those are really nice, those are really well polished. But all the indie games, they're these nice, unique ideas where people are just like, hey, I want to make a game, let me do this and see what happens. And a lot of times, like people like, oh, it doesn't look that good at first, but then you play it and it turns out to be a pretty, really good game. So, I can't wait for all the indie games, and I'm really glad actually Minecraft is going to be on the PS4 right when it launches, because I know my friends and I will love to get on that.
I mean, how important is it, at least around the first couple months of launch, that a system to have really compelling exclusives?
I kind of want to comment on this actually using Sactage's previous comment about Bastion and his love of indie games, because I think it's interesting that I'm pretty sure this is correct, but Supergiant, the creators of Bastion, their next game, Transistor, will be exclusive to the Xbox One for a while.
Is that right?
I believe so. It's exclusive to one or the other, at least for a period of time.
I want to say it's the PS4. That's the exclusive one.
That's even more amazing to me, because Bastion was exclusive on Xbox for so long. But the point being is, I think for the launch window, exclusives don't really matter all that much unless you're a diehard fan of those games. But as we roll along, every now and then we're going to be finding games that are really important and completely exclusive. So there are things that aren't coming out in launch window, but I know will be exclusive when they do come out, and that will make me buy that console. So the next Halo series, I love Halo. I've been playing that game series for so long. When that game comes out, I'm going to get an Xbox One. It's almost not up to me. It's just like the fate. It's in the stars. When the new Smash Brothers comes out, I'll be getting a Wii U as well. So, I think eventually exclusives matter. For the launch window, I think it really only matters if you're a diehard fan of those particular games.
I think Titanfall, like if I haven't upgraded my PC by the time that's out, I think I'll have to cop an Xbox One. What about you, Daniel?
I've said this time and time again. I'm a huge Halo fan. I have a PS3, I don't have an Xbox. That was mostly because my mom was like, no, I'm not paying for, subscription online, way back when, so she got me a PS3 instead. And you know, I mean, like when the new Halo comes out, I might go and buy an Xbox One. I don't really know yet. I'm still trying to see what my friends are gonna do and whatnot. But I think exclusives like they definitely are important. Just it's more in the long run, because at first like a lot of anyone who's decided what console they're gonna have now is usually they're more loyal to the one they've had. Like I know all my friends who have PS3s, they're gonna get PS4s. They're not gonna get an Xbox One. All my friends who have Xboxes, they're going to get the Xbox One, not a PS4.
Interesting point that brings up is free-to-play games. Like that's obviously been a fixture in the PC space for a long time, and we're now starting to see that emerge on the consoles, right? We've got stuff like Warframe coming to the PS4. I'm sure that there are games along those lines coming for Xbox One.
Yep.
Are you guys interested in that stuff, free-to-play? Like, do you think that is a model that would be cool to replicate on the consoles?
I think that's really good that they're coming to the PS4, especially with like, I know that War Thunder, which is it's a flight combat simulator, that's on the PC right now. It's an open beta, and I'm pretty sure there's actually going to be cross-platform play between the PS4 and the PC, which is going to be actually really cool to see. Because I know that on the PS3 and PC you could do Portal 2 like that, but that's the only other game I know of that had cross-platform play. I don't think it's come to the Xbox for that exact reason. Microsoft has really been opposed to anything cross-platform because I'm sure they don't want people. they want as much money as they can get.
They don't want Xbox players getting owned and then getting mad.
Yeah, no. But I mean, definitely, I think like the introduction of free-to-play games is going to actually really help either console, because it's like if you have a really good game and it's like a model, something like PlanetSide 2, you can buy new weapons, stuff like that. It can still be really fun. You don't have to put any money towards it. It's not like, TF2 where if you want to do things, you have to spend money on keys for crates and all that stuff. But, I mean, still, even TF2 without spending any money is really fun. PlanetSide 2 is fun. War Thunder is fun. And frankly, games like that come to the PS4 or the Xbox One, everyone's going to enjoy them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for a long while, the word free-to-play had really bad connotations. It was a bad word. If a game was free-to-play, it meant that it was really low quality, it was cheap, it was cheesy, and swindled you out of your money by putting up barriers. And that's just not the way that the free-to-play market looks anymore. We get things like League of Legends and Warframe and War Thunder and all sorts of free-to-play games that are super high quality, really high levels of production value. They play wonderfully, they look absolutely gorgeous, and it just makes sense. Like, why aren't these games on consoles? I think it's because people hadn't figured it out yet. And now that I think people have figured it out on the PC market, their transition into the console just makes a lot of sense. So I highly expect us to see more free-to-play, not just free-to-play games, period, but games that maybe you'll initially buy, but have a sort of free-to-play system built in as the game goes along. Things like FIFA 14 or fighting games in the future, I think, just make more sense if they sort of bring out content and let you pick and grab what you want to play. So I imagine a very fruitful free-to-play space on those consoles for sure.
I personally would rather have everything be free. But one last question before we wrap up, George. How long until everything is either a MOBA or a trading card game?
Couple years. When Gabe Newell finally announces that Half-Life 3 will be a MOBA, that is the point of no return.
And with that, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you to Sactage and thank you to George. And we will see you guys next time on Wikia Expert Showcase.